Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. Over the summer, the mayor of Vancouver, Ken Sim, made headlines by suggesting that the iconic Kitsilano Pool could be heated with Bitcoin. So I guess get ready for crypto bros shotgunning Monster Energy and screaming to the moon in the shallow end. I made a similar joke on Twitter over the summer and was promptly told that I don't know what I'm talking about, which, to be fair, accurate. To explain how Bitcoin can actually heat your community pool, the co-founder and CEO of MintGreen, a clean tech company based in Burnaby, BC, specializing in heat recovery from Bitcoin mining, Colin Sullivan. Colin, a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here, Mo.
So explain it to me like I'm 5. How does Bitcoin create heat that can then be repurposed for heating things like pools?
So let's establish some simple facts here. It's like when work is being done, heat is created. You know, Mo, when you're at the gym, what happens to you?
I'm getting hot. I'm sweating it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you drive to, maybe Whistler, car engine is going to be hot. So there's only so much that actually gets used towards the exact work, but there's a bit of waste energy to that. So you have sort of a friction. You create some heat. So if you're on the bus and you got your laptop on your lap and you start, watching a video that's sort of using a lot of processing power, you're going to start feeling the burn of that.
Yeah.
And
in a lot of areas.
A lot of key areas. And it's actually not too we've kind of taken that to the nth degree. So I mean, like when you're on the bus, like I said, this is kind of just going into the atmosphere. This heat is kind of and your legs, maybe other parts. But in the case of, say, what we're doing is we're actually putting them into a more dense fluid. So we're immersing them in a cooling well. We're dunking them in a cooling well to capture that better. And it's not unlike, say, like the movie The Matrix, where they were kind of like in that goo to collect their heat. It's like that's kind of the idea.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So from all the activity of mining Bitcoin, from creating the cryptocurrency, you're able to basically capture that and then repurpose it. Is that?
It's in cyberspace, Bitcoin miners essentially make Bitcoin and provide security to the network. In the real world, they're almost like giant hair dryers.
Okay.
And when you pull off the fans of them and you put them in sort of a coolant, you can then capture that heat at a very high density and make it more useful.
Okay. Now, there was a quote that I read online, and I want to quote this because I thought it was really interesting. It said, "What you're describing is akin to using a gas-guzzling Hummer's radiator as a panini press." Can you explain how heating a pool using Bitcoin energy is actually an efficient use of energy?
First of all, it's just sort of like a heat requirement loading misbalance there, honestly. I mean, right, like if you had a Barbie Jeep, would that be enough to heat a panini? Like maybe that makes sense. How could you heat Kit's pool with a Hummer?
Oh, maybe.
You couldn't. You need you need like 11 of them.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's all about like the scale of the heat you're talking matching to the load you need.
Got it. Okay.
Now is an H2 Hummer good to be just a heater? Like they're okay, right? An ICE engine or an internal combustion engine, on the order of only 25% efficient. So there's a lot of heat getting lost in that process, but its main job is getting you places.
Right.
Where the main job of these computers, these ASICs, the Bitcoin miners, is to make Bitcoin, and they can be in situ and create heat in a very efficient way. So they can do their full job, unlike the H2 stuck in the parking lot. That doesn't make sense. But this can do its full job and provide heat on site.
Right. So you're basically taking the byproduct the heat, which otherwise would have been wasted.
It's typically a problem. That's the number one problem you're taking care of if you own a data center, is trying to keep it cool. So, in the case of Kit's Pool, that would now be cooling your system, and you in turn are heating that. It's going to be mutually beneficial in that way.
Now, Vancouver mayoral candidate Kareem Alam described Bitcoin specifically as an instrument for organized crime. You have another Vancouver mayoral candidate, Rebecca Bly, who has also been very critical of Ken Sim's approach to Bitcoin. What's your response to that? Because obviously there's this negative connotation attached to Bitcoin.
I mean, you can try to make a negative connotation to Bitcoin, and to varying degrees, I think it's it's kind of become a way to attack Ken maybe more directly because he is a big proponent of Bitcoin. I think it was 2 years ago the FBI did a study, and something like 0.19% of money laundering was actually through cryptocurrency in general. And Bitcoin is probably your worst choice for that because there's a completely transparent ledger and native triple entry accounting built into it.
Okay.
So it's highly traceable.
Okay. Yeah.
So it feels like kind of a meme from 2015, to be honest. I mean, it's been largely mainstream. It was a big topic in the United States most recent presidential election, which surprised me. And so, I mean, the theft or the crime in the eyes of many people in Bitcoin is the inflation. That's a surreptitious tax you're paying. And Bitcoin, being a hard asset and undebasable, can protect you against that.
Okay, interesting. I guess bigger picture, what I'm hearing is Bitcoin's happening. It's moving forward. There are a lot of companies investing in it, similar to AI. The companies are investing into it. Where there's waste, let's try to make things efficient and use it in... Well, as opposed to being waste, using that heat for something good.
I think that's going to be the future of Bitcoin because over time you have sort of less block subsidy, they call it. The block reward generally gets smaller in a period called the halving. So that's the new coins, there becomes less, so there becomes less that aren't attached to transaction fees for miners, and therefore you have to be more competitive. And if you're more competitive, like if you're taking a waste product and you're able to lower your costs with that, you've essentially accomplished that. You've become more effective than the next group. And so I think over time you'll see a lot of carbon intensive mining being pushed off by more efficient uses.
Colin, well, taking away the jokes, taking away the politics out of it, I think it's an interesting topic. So I do appreciate your time tonight to be able to explain this to us. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure. Thanks so much, Mo.
Folks, that was the CEO of MintGreen, Colin Sullivan. Now, after some business, expensive monster dolls in mystery boxes are the hottest trend with Gen Z. Don't get it? Well, don't worry. We'll unbox the hype and explain the allure of Labubu's up next.